I think I'll just wait for exactly 1 minute so that everybody can join in and then we can start from where we left. Okay, I think now we can start and the others can keep joining in if they wish to. Right. So now the topic that I'm going to start with is where to network. Well, this is an extremely important and relevant question when it comes to networking. So see, my belief is that anywhere that has that has people, about 10 to 12 people unknown. Srishti, can you please put yourself on mute? All those people who are not on mute, can you please put yourselves on mute? Great. Okay, everybody's on mute. Right. So as I was telling you that according to me, if there are about 10 to 12 unknown people anywhere in a gathering, you can network right there. Okay. Sorry, I just got distracted by a question. Right. So any place that has 10 to 12 unknown people, you can network there. Well, what are the places that you can network at considering, I mean, looking at your individual professions and careers and what lines you've chosen? I can suggest you that you can network at seminars, workshops. If you're a student, of course, that's what I mean. You can network at seminars, workshops, events. There are specific networking events. You see, once you become a professional, there are specific networking events. There are networking events for real estate agents. There are networking events for doctors. There are networking events for lawyers, for engineers, for scientists. So there are different networking events for your particular career also. It's just that you have to find out. Okay. Then extremely important, social media platforms are one great place to network. Before I tell in detail about the social media platforms, I think I'm going to tell who all you can network with. So if you're attending a seminar, workshop, or an event, or for example, if this webinar was happening in the form of a seminar, my first instinct would have been to tell you to turn to your right and to your left to introduce yourself to the person sitting right next to you, because you never know who can be of help to you and in what manner. You can never foresee the kind of role the other person is going to bring in your life. So, see, if you're attending an event, I always suggest that try and network with the speaker. Of course, networking with your fellows is a great idea because you get to know what they're doing and how is it happening. But here we're talking about networking. Here we're talking about great career building. Here we're talking about great profession building. So try and network with speakers of that event. Try and network with the organizers of that event. Delegates, of course, you can network with. Your co-participants, you can network with. When you are networking with any speaker or with the organizers, you can always ask them about how did they prepare for their speech, or what part of their talk did you like, or you can you can ask them if you can be of any help to them. See, networking is always seen as 51 is to 49. So generally it is said that when there is a relation, it is always 50-50. So the other person is also putting in 50, you are also putting in 50. But networking is a little different. Here you are putting 51 and the other person, you have to allow the other person to put in 49. You have to show the other person how you can be of help to them, what all skills you have, what all experiences you have, how can you, you know, help them in achieving what they wish to. That is how you build and maintain connections. Exchanging business cards is a wonderful idea. Ask for the speaker's business card, follow them on their social media, track them, keep in touch with them, remind them, send them a message that you met them at so and so event and you know them from there and this is how their speech affected you. So these are little things that you can do which help you maintaining the network. Just how important building a network is, it is equally important to maintain that network also. And generally, a lot of speakers tend to miss that out. I mean, I have attended so many networking events. I have attended so many events so many webinars and seminars which talk about networking, but they always forgot to mention how to maintain that network. Maintaining, you can only maintain by sending them message, telling them how they affected you, passing them a genuine compliment that you felt. Okay, so we have these two questions. These are okay, particularly about LinkedIn, right? So any question as of now about networking, you can put them down in the chat box as to what events should you look at, or whom you should go with, what you should do. Any question that you have, you can put it down. You can raise your hand here so that I can wait. If you want to ask any question, and then you can put it down in the chat box. I will wait. Otherwise, I will now move on to LinkedIn. Great. A great question has come, which says that a lot of times we wish to network with people, but they just don't accept your request. See, there is always an option of following them. Um, I know it can sometimes get frustrating that you want to really talk to that person, but you're just unable to do it. See, there is an option of messaging them right away without a connection. So when you message somebody who's not accepting your connection request, and you uh, send a message which is particularly, about what you are seeking from them, what kind of help you are seeking from them, I will in fact tell you how to build that message also. When I specifically talk about LinkedIn, I will tell you how to form that message, reading which somebody will be, willing to add you as a connection. And sometimes, see, when people don't add you as a connection, don't think of it as a failure. It's just that maybe they don't have any more space left for connections, or they're just not willing to open up their connection area that much. You can always follow them, right? And if one door has closed, does not mean that that person was the last person you could have networked with. That is what I said. Network, the third most important aspect of networking is you have to persist, persist, and persist. There will be one door closed, two doors closed, three doors closed, but you have to keep on searching for that one person who will take you in and who will guide you through. So do not end your search if somebody's not added you back to their connection list. Just follow them, keep learning from them, and at the same time, try and keep building on your connection with someone else. Okay, and these are questions about LinkedIn, right? So I'll just move to LinkedIn right away now. See, LinkedIn is a professional platform. LinkedIn is somewhere people talk about their professions, their careers. Uh, LinkedIn is a platform that will help you state your opinions, thoughts in a very secured platform, right? So there are so many people, you will find so many industry leaders of your particular industries on LinkedIn. And the greatest thing, and I mean, the most amazing thing about LinkedIn is that you get to follow their work so closely. You get to see what the market is doing, whatever is happening in the market, you get to observe everything so closely. So building a profile on LinkedIn is extremely easy. See, so any social media site, when we approach, it gives us two options. So either you sign up or you log in. If you do not already have a LinkedIn account, sign up for it, start building your LinkedIn profile. This one social media platform holds your hand and walks you through, right? It will keep asking you successive questions to which you just have to answer, and hence your profile is built. I mean, it will ask you what education you've had. It will ask you what experience you've had. It will ask you what field do you have. It will ask you what skills do you have. Okay. Um, so see, LinkedIn, again, I will repeat that. It is one platform which will hold your hand and help you make your entire profile. What I recommend is that keep your CV right next to you when you're making your profile, when you're building your profile on LinkedIn. Keep your CV right next to you so that you know what to add, what not to add, because sometimes the options that are available, and considering if you are a student, it becomes very difficult, to jot down and to stream down what exactly is your field of working, because as of now, even you are not sure in which field particularly are you going to work. So LinkedIn options can sometimes be confusing. So if you have your CV right in front of you, it will become way more easier to build and to continue with that profile. Now I'm going to share my screen so that there are a few things that I want to show you specifically about LinkedIn. And I'll show you that right now. Uh, can you please allow me to share my screen? Samujyoti, can you allow me to share my screen, please?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you,
Sorry. There is. Hello.
am I audible?
Sorry, ma'am. There is some network and I have problem.
Okay, not a
Am I
problem.
audible now?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Can you allow me to
Yes.
share my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it's shared.
Okay, thank you so much. Right. So, okay, so this is my profile that I'm going to show you. See, I will start with the first aspect of it, which is your profile picture. Is everybody able to see my screen? Can Kamujyoti, can you see my screen? If you could just reply, I mean, unmute yourself and tell me.
Yes, ma'am. We can see.
Okay, okay, great. Right. So first and the most important thing of your profile is your profile picture. A lot of people tend to put not professional profile pictures, and that gives an extremely bad impression. Specifically, if you are going to take LinkedIn seriously, your profile picture has to be something which is in consonance with your professional career, and it has to look professional. Now, one very basic and one very common thing which a lot of people tend to commit a mistake at, please keep the first letter of your name capital, of your name and your last name, please keep those first letters capital. Now, this right here that you are seeing is the headline. Headline is, it's like a first impression that you're going to make on anybody who's going to visit your profile. So right when they see your name, your profile picture, this headline is something that is going to be visible to them. There are different ways of writing your headline. One way is this, where you just put your key aspects. It can be one key aspect, two key aspects, or anything. So this is just pointers. So you pointed out what your key aspects of your career are. The other way is to put it down in the form of lines, right? I don't think headline in this section of headline you can use paragraphs and paragraphs. That's really not possible. So you have to come up with one witty line which describes you in the best manner, right? So these are two ways that I have mostly witnessed how people decide to keep their headline. Either it is pointers like this, or there is one crisp line um, which tells the other person, which tells the viewer whose profile they are looking at, right? Okay, so this is one majorly asked question as to what to include in your headline. See, if you're adding pointers, I've told you that whatever key aspects of your profession are or your career are, you can add that. But a question is, if you want to write and you want to come up with a good line with, something that is very attractive, I always suggest that be true to yourself. Can you be true to yourself? What is it that you're really passionate about? What is it that you feel you're good at? What is it that you envision? So if you can, inculcate all those three things together in one line, that is, that can make as your headline. Next is this about section. Now, this section will help you add paragraphs. So this is one section where you can write details about yourself. I have decided to keep it extremely simple. So what I am currently doing, what is my vision, professionally what I want to do. I have decided to keep it very simple. There are people who decide to, give a glimpse to almost their entire CV by using this about section. So this is your personalized section where you write, where you express what you have done, what you have achieved, what you envision, everything in detail, but again in a crisp manner, so that the other person does not have to read, lines and lines, paragraphs and paragraphs, but something crisp which gives them an idea as to what they are going through. See, now you will see, this is what exactly I was talking about. LinkedIn holds your hand and walks you through. It will give you this entire experience column where you can, write down experience, and again, of course, add your year and month of doing all those, having those experiences. So these are put in the reverse chronological order. So the recent one is on the top and the last one goes to the bottom. Then is, of course, your education. So if you've done any particular degree, if you've done anything, your school, your college, your university, your degree, if anything is put in the education sector. And like an amazing thing is that you can edit, keep adding, you can keep building. So this is one little CV of your own. LinkedIn has helped you build one little CV of your own. Some people also take help of LinkedIn to generate their CV because it is so helpful. It gives you step-by-step guidance on how you can, build your CV. So either way, if you have a CV, you can use that to build your LinkedIn profile. If you build your LinkedIn profile, you can use that to make your CV. See, the next is your skills and endorsements. So skills and endorsements mean what skills you think which are relevant to your career. You are writing them down here in the skills department. What all do you endorse? You're putting that down here in this department. So this is one basic thing about building your profile. Okay, right? So that is one thing about building your profile. Now I'm going to move on with how to start connecting. I have seen a lot of questions, and Kamujyoti, can you write down these questions, because just in case the meeting ends, these questions will be lost, and in case we rejoin the meeting, I will not be able to take them up again. So if you could just copy and paste
Yes,
them
ma'am.
down, you can.
Ma'am, I'm just yeah, I'm doing that, ma'am.
Yes, just copy and paste it so that in the next session you can again, just send it across to me so that none of the questions are left. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to talk about an extremely important aspect of LinkedIn, which is connecting. How do you connect? When you start off with LinkedIn, you will see that LinkedIn itself will give you options to connect with industry leaders. It will show the industry that you will put in while building your profile. It will tell you who all are the industry leaders or who all are the people that are followed the most by people who have similar interests, skill sets, industry as you. So if my industry is legal, if my industry is law, it's like that. The recommendations that I will have from LinkedIn will be based on the industry leaders who are followed by such people who have the same skills, who have the same area of work as me. And once you start connecting, see, one thing that I want to point out here is that just don't go about recklessly sending requests. That is one of the biggest mistake that you can do. Do not recklessly send connection requests. When you recklessly send connection requests, LinkedIn blocks your connection sending capacity. You will get the message that you no longer can connect with anybody, and it will disable your connections for about, I think, 2 to 3 hours or something. They have their own algorithm for that. So do not recklessly send connection requests. See, again, it all boils down to having a dream and having a vision and having a goal. If you are clear on that, you know who do you want to connect with. You want to know who inspires you. You want to know who you want to follow. Then you can connect with your peers, your classmates, somebody who's your colleague. Um, you can follow different people from different walks of life. So see, the best part about LinkedIn is that of course you can have professional connections, great. But if you believe in something else, right? So for example, my profession can be legal dispute. I can be a lawyer by profession, but my passion can lie in women empowerment. My passion lies in women empowerment. I like to talk about women and their rights. I like to talk about how the youth should be connected. So I can be connected with those people who have similar interests. So, along with building your professional platform, along with building your professional uh, profile, it also helps you connect with people from different walks of life. Anything that you're passionate about, anything that you feel for, any cause that you believe in, you can connect with all those people who are actively working in it, right? Once you have started making meaningful connections, you started connecting with people, what you can do is start sending messages. Now, this is extremely important aspect um, as to how to send message. Now, see, there are one, two, or three ways by which you can send a message. First, you can send a connection request. Your connection request gets accepted, and then you send them a message. Number two, you can send them a connection request. Before it gets accepted, you can send a message. Number three, you send a connection request and just right then you send them your message as well. The body of your message has to be, you start by greeting, for example, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever. Or you can start by saying greetings of the day. Thank you for connecting me. Of course, if you're doing it after the connection has been formed, thank you for connecting. Or you can say, I wish to connect with you because. Then you write down the body of your message. Your body should include three important things. Tell about yourself, who you are you a student, are you a professional, are you working in some field, or what class you're studying in. Next, mention why are you messaging them. Tell them that you're messaging them because you want to learn from them, you want to seek their guidance, you want to seek their help, you want to tell them something. So just clarify why you are messaging them. Number third, um, tell them how you can be of help to them. So if you are reaching out to somebody to ask for an internship or ask for a work opportunity, make sure that you are specifying why, I mean, how you can help them, or what skill set you have, what experiences you have that will be of benefit to them. So these three extremely important things need to be included in your message, in the body of your message. And of course, then you end with your thank you and your regards. And in the end, your name. Uh, okay. Then, so this is how you write down the message. If anybody has any questions regarding how to write a message, or if anything separate, I mean, apart from what I've mentioned regarding how to send a message, please let me know. One important thing about how to build connections is sometimes even the recommendations that you receive are not enough, and you want someone particular, you're looking for somebody who's working in the XYZ field. In the search column on the top of your LinkedIn account, what you can do is just put a hashtag of whatever you think that you're looking for. Say, for example, if you're looking for an author, just type down hashtag author, or just probably type down author. So if you're typing a hashtag, anybody who would have used that hashtag in their post, they will pop up on your screen. Or if you're writing the word author without a hashtag, any person who used the word author in their headline will pop up on your screen, right? So this is how you can build connection. I think I had a question here which said, how can we build connection? I think I've covered all the aspects of how to build and how to message them. I want to say one thing, that do not get disheartened if somebody does not accept your connection request or does not reply. See, because if okay, now imagine if you are somebody who's an industry leader, okay, who's working, who's known in their industry, you are bound to receive hundreds and thousands of messages, connection requests in a day, and it becomes really difficult for you to respond to each one of them personally. So sometimes it is maybe not viable for that person or that leader that you want to connect with to give you personal replies or anything. Don't take it in a wrong manner. Just try and find somebody who will be willing to help you. right? Now, LinkedIn is one platform that I can tell you out of my own experience that it is a platform where people are really, really willing to help. If you ask and if you seek and if you clarify that you wish any certain kind of help from somebody, see, again, the key here is to be specific. Just a second, please. So again, the key step here is to be specific about what you want. You want information about internship. You want information about working with an organization. Or you want to know the experience someone has had working in a particular internship or something. So you have to be specific and clear as to why you are approaching that person, because a vague message, a vague request does not make sense to anybody. If you are trying to follow that person from their video or from their seminar that you attended or from their book that they wrote or from an article, always give reference. It is always good when somebody sees that the work they have done is reaching out to people and that is how they are coming to them. It gives you context and it gives the other person also context as to why you want to connect with them, right? See, LinkedIn has this amazing thing where it gives you pop-up message ideas. So if you are connected with somebody, it will give you this already made message that thank you for connecting. Hope you are doing good. I personally do not recommend using that because otherwise your touch is lost in that. I mean, otherwise you're just not able to show how dearly you actually want to connect with that person, right? So if you everybody who connects with you wishes to talk to you, I mean, it's not that they will not help you. I mean, if they've connected with you, they will be more than willing to help. But I can talk from my personal experience that when somebody sends me a message that thank you for connecting, hope you're doing well, I tend to ignore it most of the times, because if somebody actually had a reason and wanted to talk to me about something, they would message in the first message itself. So make sure that you are having a good message which is conveying clearly what you want to say and why you want to reach out to that person, right? So this is about connecting, building connections, and do not recklessly send out the connection requests. Otherwise, you will be blocked by LinkedIn for some time from sending connection requests. Do not get disheartened if somebody is not accepting your connection request, etc. Now let's move on to the third and the last but most important aspect of LinkedIn, which is content posting. See, this is a very valid question when it comes to our mind, that what exactly is the kind of content that I should put out. According to me, LinkedIn is a professional platform. So the most welcomed and appreciated content on LinkedIn is when it is on the lines of your career, or it is something professional, or it is your thought or your opinion on something that is happening in your industry at large or in this country at large. But of course, as very rightly mentioned that by somebody in the previous meeting, that people post private things also. They tend to share private things also, but I do not recommend that. I mean, of course you can do it because it is your personal choice, but I don't recommend to post your private life on LinkedIn. In fact, I mean, until and unless you have a learning from that experience. So people post their pictures from their tour or from their trip, but they write down what they learned or what was it new that they got from that trip. So just for the sake of sharing, don't share it. If you have a learning to, that which you want to share with other people, go ahead, do it. So the idea is to maintain the sanctity of the platform. There are three kind of contents that you can put out on LinkedIn. Number one is write-ups, where you write your thoughts, your opinions, you write your article, you write your achievements, you talk about different things that are happening in your career. One is write-up. Somebody is not on mute. Can you please put yourself on mute? Sangeeta, you're not on mute. Could you please put yourself on mute? Okay, and also we only have about 8 minutes and 30 seconds left into this meeting. Again, if this meeting ends and the questions, I am yet to address those questions. please join back this meeting. Okay, so first kind of content that you can post is your write-ups. The second kind of content that you can post is a write-up with a picture, right? The third kind of content that you can post is any query or help that you are seeking. So see, generally what happens is that if your write-up comes with a photo, it comes with a picture, it becomes more interactive, it becomes more appealing. It tends to appear on more people's screens if it has a picture. The viewership of that article or that post becomes more if Sahina, what exactly do you want me to repeat? The three kind of posts that I'm talking about. Should I repeat that? Okay, right. So the three kind of posts. One is write-ups, plain write-ups that you put out your thoughts in, your opinions in. You put out your achievements, what you are doing, how you are interacting with the industry, what is happening in the industry, what you think about it, etc. So that goes in your write-ups. The next thing is you write up. You have a write-up with a photograph or with a picture that makes it a more interactive post. It is visible on many more profiles if it has a picture attached to the write up. The third kind of okay, the third kind of the third kind of post that you can do is seeking out or reaching out to people or trying to gain help from somebody, right? uh, you can I mean, I have tried this myself, that when you honestly reach out to people seeking some kind of help in your professional life, they're more than happy to help. See, generally sometimes what happens is that we have a doubt, we have a question related to our career or related to our profession, but we just don't get the opportunity to send it to a lot of people. I mean, there are times when we're just looking for help and it does not matter where it comes from. In those times, it is the best if you can put down a post, be honest in your post, be genuine in your post. Try to, make out, try to put down exactly what you feel. But again, in a professional manner, in a very sophisticated manner, nothing too emotional or something, but a post which gives the insight of what you want to say, of how you want to communicate, what you are seeking. Just put that down in a post, and so such posts where you're seeking help, you can start them with clear connections. I am looking for dash. I mean, you just form your sentence, and then you can make such posts where you're seeking help. And in the end, you can always tell people that if you cannot help me, kindly tag someone who can help me or comment down so that it reaches more people. 5 minutes are left into this meeting. Guys, at 1 minute, we will be ending this meeting and you can rejoin. There are questions that I want to address. Okay, so using of hashtags is one very important thing which I always recommend if you are posting anything, does not matter what it is, always use relevant hashtags. Because when you use relevant hashtags, it makes your post visible to even those people who are not your connections. I mean, and sometimes it so happens that the viewership of your post becomes so much that your post gets to trending. So if the viewership of your post reaches out to about say 2000 people, 3000 people, your post gets trending in a particular hashtag. So you can always use hashtag, but try and using the relevant hashtags because those help better in getting viewership to your post. Tag a few people. See, if you are starting off posting, don't tag people. Keep posting, build your content, build your connections. But when you have a base prepared of your profile, then you can start tagging people, then you can start tagging your connections whom you think will be interested in the post, or if you're quoting somebody's work, tag that person so that they're able to read. If you are saying something about someone, tag them. So so you uh, if you tag people, the outreach again becomes big. If you are tagging one of the industry leaders and they happen to see your post and they happen to like it, then it will show in their feed also that so and so liked the post, and it will again, the viewership of your post will increase. But again, there is a very fine line between being sounding and tagging people unnecessarily, and actually tagging people for some good reason. um, okay, so this is the last point of it. You can comment down on other people's posts, always help, and always like people's posts. You can celebrate them. So 5 options LinkedIn gives you. You can do anything. You either find the post insightful, you really love it, you like it, you want to celebrate it, and something like that. So you can do any of those with the post. And I recommend that when you really find a post engaging, do it. Press the like button. Comment if you have something to say. Be visible. So the whole idea is to be visible in the market, on the platform, to make your presence felt, right? There is one extremely important thing that LinkedIn allows you. It allows you to write articles. So if you are familiar with the concept of writing blogs, you will be able to understand LinkedIn gives you the opportunity of writing articles and inserting images, inserting pictures, photographs, etc., so that it looks like one personalized blog of yours. So that is also one way possible. Now, Tamujyoti, I want you to quickly look at the questions and copy them down, because we are left with about 1 minute or so. So if you can just copy the questions, put them down, and so that we can address all of them in the coming up session.
Yes, ma'am. I've taken the all the questions noted.
Okay. Okay. So see, I'm left with 30 seconds for this meeting. I can take up this question. Starting a conversation on LinkedIn by congratulating on a new role, is it a good option? See, congratulating anybody on a new role is anytime a good option. You should do it because they've done something, they've achieved something. Generally, people don't do it, but do it. But if you're trying to start a conversation, I think a message is a better way to reach out to the person. If see, there is this thing called LinkedIn Premium, right, where some people have moved this security things like that. If that you can only message them if you have the LinkedIn Premium package. In that situation, what I recommend is that if you really want to talk to that person, comment down on one of their posts, on any of their articles that they've written, and in that, I mean, anything that you genuinely find interesting, you can praise it, you can write good things about it, and then you can start off by saying why exactly you want to um, talk to them, or how you seeking their help, right? Okay, so I think, Tamujyoti, we can now end this meeting, and to all those questions whose questions are not addressed yet, I'm going to address them particularly in the next meeting. So you can join back again.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, everyone can join back again for